Welcome to News9 Mediaverse, and I am Kartikeya Sharma, and you are watching On Point with me. And today, I will talk about a path-breaking order that has come. Hindus have been allowed to pray at the sealed basement of Gyanvapi complex. It's a big victory. Court has already appointed a receiver on this, and on Wednesday, allowed to offer prayer inside the Vyajsi tehkhaana area of mosque complex. The court issued this order in response to plea filed by head priest of Acharya Vyajsi temple, Shailendra Kumar Pathak, Vyas, seeking the worship of Shringar Gauri and other visible and invisible deities in the cellar of Gyanvapi mosque. It's a big decision. It's a big decision because not only they get to do the worship, but this was a long struggle which had consumed a lot of people since 1993. In this struggle, a lot of political parties did not cooperate. It's not as if the puja was not happening, puja was happening. But even then the political climate changed so dramatically that instead of resolving this issue, the situation was left to be mitigated by the judges. So before I go any further in whether this will have a bearing on the larger issue of Gyanvapi, let me play out the whites now.
आज वो पूरा हो गया है और जिला प्रशासन वहाँ जल्द से जल्द पूजा पाठ शुरू करेगा।
7 दिन के बाद सभी भक्त वहाँ जा पाएंगे कि सिर्फ कुछ लोग?
7 दिन के अंदर जिला प्रशासन को दिया है। अब जैसे जिला प्रशासन वहाँ पे अरेंजमेंट करेगा, वहाँ तुरंत पूजा पाठ शुरू हो जाएगा।
जो भी काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर जाएगा वो तहखाने पूजा करने जरूर जाएगा।
जी बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल जाएगा। देखिए, काशी विश्वनाथ ट्रस्ट को भगवान की कैसे पूजा पाठ हो, इसके लिए कोई आदेश की जरूरत नहीं होती है, उनको पता हो
कौन से भगवान पूजा पाठ हो, क्या विधि हो।
देखिए, वहाँ पे वही मैं बता रहा हूँ, उसकी निटी-गिटीज में वो काशी विश्वनाथ ट्रस्ट डिसाइड करेगा। हमारा जो लीगल काम था, वो लीगल काम हमने पूरा किया है। अब काशी विश्वनाथ ट्रस्ट के ऊपर है कि उसकी पूजा पाठ स्टार्ट।
तो 7 दिन के अंदर ये पूजा शुरू हो जाएगी।
7 दिन के अंदर पूजा पाठ।
ये कोर्ट ने तय कर दिया कि 7 दिन के अंदर।
जी, कोर्ट ने अपने आदेश में लिखा।
जो आदेश आया है उसके खिलाफ हम माननीय उच्च न्यायालय इलाहाबाद जाएंगे। वो आदेश जो है तो 2022 की वकील कमिश्नर की रिपोर्ट, एएसआई की रिपोर्ट और सन 1937 का हमारा हक में जो फैसला है उसको ओवरलुक करके किया गया है। वो गलत कहते हैं, वो करते थे, लेकिन उसके सबूत में उन्होंने कोई भी जो तो मतलब सपोर्ट में कोई सबूत दाखिल नहीं किया है। कोई सबूत है ही नहीं उनके पास जो है तो, और करते ही नहीं थे, इसलिए सबूत कहाँ से इकट्ठा करेंगे। अब कमीशन की रिपोर्ट देखिए और एएसआई की रिपोर्ट देखिए, क्या उसमें कहीं लिखा है कि दक्षिणी करता है, और आज भी नहीं है। हम लोग को लेकर के चले वहाँ पर कि वहाँ पर कोई मूर्ति है, हमको दिखलाएं कि वहाँ मूर्ति चले, कोई भी चले।
ज्ञानवापी में तो अभी 2 ही तहखाने खुले हैं, अभी तो 8 बाकी हैं। और पहले भी पूजा लोग कर रहे थे हिंदू। बीच के कालखंडों में कैसा आया कि इस पे रोक लगी है, और जो दिया है कोर्ट ने वो कोई नई चीज नहीं दी है। लोगों ने कहा कि गिरिराज जी राम मंदिर हो गया, उसके बाद क्या हम कि राम मंदिर हो गया, प्रभु श्री राम के प्राण प्रतिष्ठा, नरेंद्र मोदी, मैं तो उनको अब स्वामी कहता हूं कि वो एक ऐसा संत जो 11 दिन का यम कानून को मानते हुए जमीन पर सोते हुए राम की प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर दी। और पूरे विश्व में अब राम अयोध्या तो केवल झांकी है, आगे राम की लीला बाकी है।
तो पूजा का जो अधिकार मिला वो बहुत अच्छी बात है। और यहाँ यही हुआ कि जो सत्य रहा वही सत्य हुआ। पूजा होती थी, पूजा होगी, और पूजा जिन लोगों ने रोका था और जिस प्रकार से रोका गया था वो गलत था। और सही यह है कि वहाँ पर पूजा की जो मांग हुई, पूजा के सबूत मिले, इसलिए पूजा का आदेश दिया, जो जाकर पूजा करेंगे। इसलिए कोर्ट को धन्यवाद देता हूँ।
On this issue, I am joined by Harishankar Jain, Gyanvapi case petitioner, senior advocate, Deshratna Nigam, political analyst, and Brijesh Pandey, our input editor. Brijesh, how significant is this order?
It's a very significant order, Kartikeya, and I think, for the first time they have been allowed to go inside the Vyajsi ka tehkhaana and offer prayer there. And this order is something which can be implemented forthwith, which means that the administration, as the receiver is the district magistrate of Varanasi, he has been asked to remove all the barricading which has been done and also clean the area so that the puja archana can begin at the earliest. And if the administration gets it done within 24 hours, the puja archana can start start immediately after that, and if they get it done in next 1 hour, it can be started immediately. So it's like the upper limit is 7 days, but if the state, the administration executes the first 2 things, which is removal of the barricading and cleaning the place, which is not going to take much time, it can be start immediately forthwith. So it's a very, very significant order, and the other side has said that they will they will approach the higher court, and they will challenge the verdict which has been given by Varanasi.
I'm also joined by Harishankar Jain. Sir, how significant, in your opinion, this order is? And does this change the larger issue which stands today in context of Gyanvapi, sir?
I'm thankful to Mr. Pandey. He has said very correctly whatever is the thing at present there. And certainly, this is an order which will prove the way for puja and worship which was going on till 1993. In Tehkhaana, there is ample evidence to the effect that till 1993, Vyajsi family was performing puja in southern side of the building that is Sela Tehkhaana. And now that puja is being allowed. And this confirms our right, whatever right was curtailed, that has been restored by the present order. And slowly, we are marching ahead to get success on the entire line. And one day will come, then when we will have the possession and ownership of the entire area, which has been taken away from us in 1669.
Okay.
Okay,
Mr. Jain, I'll just come to you because a number of questions I have. It's a full half-hour long debate. Mr. Nigam, why did it take such a long time? If everything was there, why does it take such a long time for issues of historical wrongs or issues which were not problematic at all until 1993? The puja was there. Why did they become problematic? Please put this in perspective for our viewers, at least for the younger viewers. Those born after 1993, sir.
In Ram Janmabhoomi case also, the the judge ordered the opening of the lock. And similarly here also, the sealed basements have been thrown open for public worship by the orders of the court. And in Ram Mandir, we went from top downwards, and here we are going from bottom upwards. And therefore, there are a set of people who don't want truth to come out. And therefore, I've always believed that this is a fight between truth and untruth. The truth is prevailing, and the stones are speaking. The holy stones are speaking. The walls is speaking. Even a blind man can see there is a temple. See, other side does not want to. They want that the Hindus should continuously be, debased. They be insulted the way the Islamic invaders came here. They could have built a separate masjid on a separate ground, place, open spaces, but they didn't. They destroyed our temples, used the very same material without, obliterating various aspects of or signs which are there on the walls and murtis, and deliberately wanted to remind Hindus that we will insult you, continue to see it. And this is exactly the case. And there are people in India. In Ram Janmabhoomi case, the Muslims initially had agreed, but certain politicians, leftists, communists came into the picture and they destroyed the entire harmony between the people. Even in this case, there are vested interests who don't want, the harmony between Hindus and Muslims. They do not want to give up. Initially, believe me, Hindus only wanted 3 places. Ram Janmabhoomi, very sacred to us, Gyanvapi, Kashi Vishwanath temple as we call it, and also Krishna Janmabhoomi. But still, they don't want to understand. Now the awakening has started with the Pran Pratishtha of Ram Mandir. And each and every one, in every nook and corner, people will demand. And there are enough, whether it is Sambal, whether it is in down south or in Ahmedabad, Kolkata, anywhere if you look at it, now people will ask for all those temples. And they would want to reclaim it. Sanatani memory is immortal. Believe me, there is a continuity of the thought which has never been broken by anybody. Like the Vedas, we remembered orally because it could have been destroyed otherwise. Similarly, our memory and the people and the local people know exactly where is what in those temples because it has been passed from generation to generation. Whether Aurangzeb may have destroyed the temples, thousands of them, but that memory cannot be obliterated. And that memory is continuing, sustaining, and the people, pujaris who are there, they have continued, and one pujari has continued to live in the basement.
But Mr.
a
Nigam,
small basement.
isn't this ironic that subsequent chief ministers, so many political parties who fought on social justice, they limited the aspect of social justice to caste, but they did not expand the aspect of justice to civilizational issues?
Yes, certainly. You know, it is, as you rightly said, this is Hamari Asmita, civilization, Sabhyata ka sawal. And that civilization has a continuity to it. They wanted to divide the Hindu community, therefore they focused on the caste, rather than focus on the entire dharma. Dharma is different from panth, as we have discussed in the past. And this dharma is your duties and responsibilities. And the politicians in the past, the chief ministers of parties which are believing in minority, social justice, other justice, whatever one may call it. But let me tell you, times have changed. People will reclaim the places, and one day the Muslims will realize that they could have done much better, and instead of being guided by their, selfish politicians or leftist or communist, they should have taken an independent decision rather than, trying to hide the truth. The stones will speak wherever you are, whichever part of India or the world you are. If a temple has been destroyed anywhere, people will talk, and especially in the modern prevailing circumstances, what is happening in the world, people now know that it is time that we have to start asserting ourselves.
Okay, Bijesh, isn't this also a reflection of larger change of mood in the civil society? I mean to say, certain things correspond with civil societies, certain trends of 50s, 60s, overt secularization, it was the in thing, for example, the way Chandigarh came up. It came up like a French city, less seat, no reference from the past. So, is it also a reflection that multiple cases have come up because the mood in the civil society is different in a majority? I wouldn't say the full, but a large part.
See, I would say that there's a dichotomy there, because if you believe the mood on the civil society is to regain our lost cultural heritage, there was a Places of Worship Act which has been challenged before the Supreme Court. I would say that the top man when it comes to Hindutva and all articulation of Hindutva, Mohan Bhagwat has said several times that we should not start looking for mandir under every masjid. And there is also one another angle of where exactly do you stop? Who guarantees that only these three things will be there and not beyond that?
Okay.
Are you trying to say?
I think that's a very important.
Because Muslim side also, because when we go for reporting,
it's time for a break. You made an important point, because Giriraj Singh also said कि ये तो अयोध्या हो गया, लेकिन लीला अभी बाकी है. I'll come to that, but after a short break.
हमारी नारी शक्ति को सशक्त करने से ही देश सशक्त होने वाला है.
हर महीने महिलाओं को 1500 रुपए प्रति माह दिलवाया जाएगा.
What Nitish Kumar did to provide cycle to girls, so they could safely, quickly move out of their house, go to school, and quickly come back. Ching, 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 ching.
माँ अन्नपूर्णा तू ही, माँ अन्नपूर्णा है तू ही वीणा वादनी, हे शक्ति स्वरूपा जगदम्बा, हे नारी तू नारायणी.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
So the big question is, where will it stop? Should historical injustice be resolved at one point of time? Should there be a court appointed process, or should there be local committees? It's a complex issue. But the fact of the matter is that these issues are not going to go away just because one person says it, because society has to respond to it. There are a couple of more reactions. Let me play out for you, and then I'm also joined by Ratan Sharda, noted author and political analyst, and then we will have a full discussion on it.
Okay.
1993 में उससे पहले पूजा पाठ होती थी। तत्कालीन सरकार जो मुलायम सिंह की सरकार थी उसको लोहे के पट्टिका से घिरवा करके अब पूजा बंद कर दिया बिना किसी सक्षम न्यायालय के आदेश के। एक उसमें मुकदमा दाखिल किया गया, उसमें 2 रिलीफ मांगे गए। पहला रिलीफ मांगा गया व्यास जी के तहखाना के दरवाजे खिड़की टूटे हुए हैं, जर्जर हैं और है ही नहीं दरवाजे खिड़की, बाकी ठीक नहीं है। उस पर अब अंजुमन इंतजामिया बलात् कब्जा करने पर आमदा है, उसको रोका जाए और उसको जिलाधिकारी को रिसीवर नियुक्त कर दिया जाए। कोर्ट ने 17 जनवरी 2024 को आदेश कर दिया और 24 जनवरी 2024 को जिलाधिकारी ने अपने कस्टडी में ले लिया उसको। पुनः हम लोगों ने दूसरी प्रेयर के लिए, दूसरी प्रार्थना के लिए बल दिया। कल कहा 30 जनवरी को कि हम लोग पूजा पाठ प्रारंभ करा दी जाए, चूंकि वो हम प्रार्थना पत्र 9 अगस्त स्वीकार कर लिया गया, उसमें दूसरा रिलीफ पर कोई आदेश नहीं हुआ है। अंजुमन इंतजामिया द्वारा अपना आपत्ति जताई गई। आज न्यायालय ने उसका स्पष्ट आदेश कर दिया कि रिसीवर जिलाधिकारी और काशी विश्वनाथ ट्रस्ट और वादी मिल करके इसको पुजारी नियुक्त करके पूजा प्रारंभ करेंगे। 7 दिन के अंदर वो पट्टिका लोहे का हटा करके अब पूजा प्रारंभ कराएंगे। ये बहुत बड़ी सफलता मान करके चलिए और ये न्याय की जीत है, सत्य की जीत है।
You all know that as far as the Gyanvapi Masjid and Kashi Vishnath case is concerned, there is a long way to go till the final judgment will be delivered by the honorable courts. As far as today's judgment is concerned, the Muslim side will definitely go to the higher courts against this judgment, and we are confident that justice will be done with the Muslims also.
यह बहुत ही समझिए कि देश के लिए खुशी का दिन है आज, क्योंकि मुगलों का, आक्रांताओं का, आतंकवादियों का हमारे देश में कभी सम्मान न था, न है, न कभी रहेगा और उनका समर्थन हमारा देश कभी नहीं करता है। जब तथ्यों के आधार पर ये साबित हो गया है तो ये बहुत खुशी की बात है। और राम जी का जो है तो इधर तो राम राज्य आ ही गया है। बाबा विश्वनाथ भी खुश हो गए, क्योंकि बिना शिव का राम राज्य कैसे होगा। तो शंकर भगवान के यहाँ भी पूजन अर्चन का अधिकार प्राप्त हो गया है।
Now let me straight away go to Mr. Sharda. Ratan Sharda, it's a big day, it's a big victory for the Hindu side. At least they have got the justice, something with the multiple chief minister could not resolve. But there is also an issue. How do you resolve the issue of the religious places that got converted during the medieval times, during the slave dynasties, the Khilji dynasty, the Lodi dynasty, the Mughal dynasty? How do you resolve this issue at a large scale? Yes, there have been civilizational wrongs. Yes, Hindu temples were broken. They were desecrated. They were used to build mosques. But how do you resolve if you have, like, for say 5,000 structures? How do you resolve them?
Well, first of all, let me say that this may be a big victory or it may not be, in the sense that actually the nature of the place was changed even despite Place of Worship Act. That in 1993, a worship that was happening since time immemorial, especially after destruction of this particular temple, it was allowed in 1993. A so-called secular government stopped it. So it was actually a violation of the Place of Worship Act, which said you cannot change the character of the place of worship. If you go by that act, though I don't like that act at all, but that is the legal position. Now, having said that, why only for every small step Hindus have to go to the courts? Because they believe in rule of law, but they are being continuously blocked. So when the Ram Mandir was going on, the Marxist historians and people went on trying to delay the justice. Congress, lawyers tried to delay the justice. Even in case of Gyanvapi, why is the Muslim side, I would not say Muslim side, trying to delay what is apparent, what is obvious? In case of Ram Mandir, they said there is no evidence. So ASI found the evidence, scientific evidence was seen, historic documents are already available, but they went on blocking. In this case, it is open to plain eyes that this is a temple which has been, destroyed, and a mosque was built on top of that. But we have people who are trying to oppose it. Now they say we go for appeal. When it was already there in 1993, why do you want to go to appeal now? You see, okay, status quo has been back in place. One. Secondly, the time for reconciliation was 1947 when we became free, when 1/3 of the nation got divided on the basis of bloody violence to create a special Islamic state. If Muslims went out, got their land, then why should Hindus who remained in this part not have their rights restored? Because even under secularism, is it only the responsibility of Hindus to keep the secularism alive? Is it not responsibility of every citizen that the Hindus should get justice? It's a deep wound, as you rightly pointed out. Way forward was in 1984 when VHP RSS took up the challenge of the Ram Mandir and created a movement that went on for 3 decades.
Do you think, Mr. Sharda, this...
Let me complete. So in that time...
1992 Act should be, religious worship should be repealed?
Yes, of course, because it is very unjust. Now, coming back to this, in 1984-85, VHP RSS said only three temples we want: Kashi, Mathura, and Ayodhya. But instead of giving a very graceful, graceful response and getting goodwill of the entire community, they stalled this at every time. Now, as the expectations of Hindus increase, as Hindus become more conscious, you can't stop them from reaching the court. If everybody can go to court, Hindus can also go to court. But should it become a hunt, as somebody pointed out from RSS side, you know what RSS person has said? They said, don't try to find shivling which is under every masjid, but the shivling which is already there.
Mohan Bhagwat said it. Mohan Bhagwat said it.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. So we did not say that if there is a shivling that should also not be touched. They said there is no mass movement. They said they are in the court, cases are in the court, everybody is following the law. My pain is that when Hagia Sophia is converted overnight from a cathedral to a museum to a mosque, and this has been happening for time memorial in every struggle between the Crusaders and the Jihadis, why there is special exception accepted from India? The Muslims are not, they don't belong to invaders. 99.9% are people from the same forefathers, from the same culture. For them to identify through their, groups of people to identify their Maulahs, Maulvis, that you belong to the Arab race, that is all this temple was not a struggle. When Ayodhya Babri happened, not a single mosque in entire Ayodhya Faizabad was touched. That shows the anger is against a particular case, not against Muslims.
Okay. Mr. Jain has been there very patiently waiting. Mr. Jain, this question is for you. What will happen to other structures? How will they be resolved? Through movement, through court, through campaign? How?
You have put a very pertinent question. And I may clear it that whosoever may be leader, may be a thinker, may be a politician, or maybe our Hindu preachers, whoever say only 3 temples, none else, he is wrong. Hindus want to get all the temples which were demolished by Muslims, and the so-called mosque or structure has been there. And correctly, you have put the question that how we take. So we will adopt all the 3 methods: through court, through agitation, through public opinion, and pursue the government to make a law. And I will suggest to the central government and appeal to the Honorable Prime Minister that constitute a tribunal where Hindus may file their claim with evidences, and wherever it is found that after demolishing a Hindu temple, any structure has been constructed, that should be returned to Hindus. That would be correct thing. If Parliament does not make law, they will certainly, by agitation, by public opinion, by procession, will pursue the government and try to pursue. That is our fundamental right to pursue the government. To make a law suitable. And third thing is the court proceeding will go on, and I am filing and go on filing the cases to get back all the temples which have been demolished. And even the more, those persons are covered. The soul is dead. Who say that don't disturb the tranquility and peace? Then no tranquility.
I think, Mr. Jain, you made a very important point that there should be a tribunal. But I have one question to you, Mr. Sharda. It's a hypothetical question. But then how do you resolve these issues? There are a lot of issues regarding, for example, Qutub Minar, Taj Mahal. How do you resolve these issues? Because these structures are also of national importance.
The day majority of Muslims realize that this particular game being played upon them by their so-called leaders is not healthy for their own life and for the nation and for happy living, they will keep away from these people, and then solution will be found. Because ultimately it's a question of two estranged brothers trying to resolve issues like any other issue, and that will happen when the instigators are asked to leave the scene. Now problem is that instigators, like in case of Ram Mandir, Marxist historians blocked the solution. When everybody is ready to leave the Mandir for Hindus, Marxist historians try to stop it. Congress lawyers have to stop it. When these people with vested interest to divide the people, then the solution will be very easy to find. As you see in Ram Mandir's case, 10,000 Muslims, 74% said we are happy with the Ram Mandir, which means there is a very sane voice already there in the society. As the situation improves, as people realize that actually the pain is for us also, not just for Hindus, because after all, they also became Muslims under pressure, under persecution of the invaders. When this happens, they realize their unity with the society. They will find a solution together, I think, and the tribunal, etc., is fine. But again, if the same people who were there in Ram Mandir case, they will try to block even good reasonable solution.
Fair enough, but I always think that yes, historical wrongs have to be corrected. One, just because you pass a legislation doesn't mean that it enjoys popular social will. But then you have also issues like Qutub Minar, Taj Mahal, which are structures of national importance and represent India domestically and globally. Then how do you resolve them? It's far more complex issue. But thank you all of you for joining me in this debate. But before you go and before I announce the break, as the government is set to deliver its interim budget, News9 will get you all the action. A slew of policymakers, economists and market commentators will break down complex data and decode what the budget has to offer you. Watch News9 Live's rolling coverage on Budget 2024 tomorrow, 9 AM onwards.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा.
There is certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की। अभी डाउनलोड करें।